This is the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd DeWalt, and it's my job to help you grow your leadership skills, grow your business, and grow your income. In this podcast episode, you're going to learn 10 activities that construction business owners and leaders can engage in that could be worth $1,000 an hour or more. A couple of things I want to talk to you about first. If you own or run a construction company, I want you to imagine this. What would it be like if you could schedule for revenue and you could drive your business instead of chasing it? What if you could design your operation so that you could stay out of cash flow crunch mode, you could make a healthy profit, pay yourself a healthy salary, and eliminate chaos in the process? What if you could have a steady source of leads so you could build the right kind of backlog without spending money on advertising? Well, I've got two programs I want to get in your hands for free. They're the Revenue Maximizer and the Contractor Sales Accelerator. They're worth about $4,000 combined, but right now you can get them both for free, plus a whole lot more when you claim your free 10-day trial of the Construction Business Accelerator program. You're going to get the Revenue Maximizer, the Contractor Sales Accelerator, plus a whole lot more. The Mindset Upgrade, the Leadership Masterclass, the Project Execution Formula, all of my best stuff. So if you like the podcast and you want to go to the next level and go deeper, get more practical, tactical, strategic stuff to put to work to help you eliminate chaos and maximize revenue, go get your 10-day free trial and get all of that stuff for free at constructionbusinessaccelerator.com. Again, constructionbusinessaccelerator.com. Grab your free 10-day trial of the Construction Business Accelerator. If you own a construction business and you want to increase revenue 25 to 50%, if you want to eradicate the chaos in your business and streamline it and turn it into a well-oiled, profitable machine, then this is for you. I want to invite you to take advantage of a special offer for a free business breakthrough coaching session where you and I are going to get on the phone and we'll work together to help you create a crystal clear vision for what ultimate success looks like for your business and the lifestyle that you'd like for your business to provide for you and your family. We're also going to uncover some of the hidden challenges that may be holding you back or even sabotaging the growth of your business, and as a result, keeping you working too many hours and not getting the results you want. And when we're done, you're going to walk away from this session renewed, re-energized, and focused, maybe even inspired to get after it and turn your business into a highly profitable, revenue-generating, well-oiled machine. So if you want to take advantage of this limited time offer for a totally free business breakthrough coaching session, then all you got to do is go to constructionleadingedge.com/call. That's constructionleadingedge.com/CALL. And one more thing for you, if you own a construction business or you're planning on starting a construction company in the near future, I've got a free video series I want to get in your hands. Have you ever wondered, how do the big successful contractors do it? How do they grow consistently? Why don't they have cash flow issues? What are they doing that you're not? Well, I've got a free video series called The Secret Strategies of Successful Contractors that I want to get in your hands. And here's what you're going to uncover in this free video series. One hidden cost that causes a lot of contractors to bleed cash and they don't even know it. There's this new way of thinking that will help you drive revenue, deliver projects on time, and ultimately grow your business and take it to the next level. You'll learn about some of the things that big contractors do to succeed that very few small to medium-sized businesses do. And lastly, you're going to learn why some of the biggest problems you're facing may not be problems at all. So if you want to get this free video series, all you have to do is go to constructionleadingedge.com/owner, OWNER. Click the big red button that says, yes, send me the information, and you will learn some of the secret strategies of successful contractors. In this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about 10 things that you could be doing, you should be doing, maybe you're not doing, that could be worth $1,000 an hour or more. You can't afford to be doing things that are worth less than $1,000 an hour. So the number one thing that you can do that's worth at least $1,000 an hour is selling new work. For example, you could spend 8 hours estimating, selling, and negotiating a project that has $8,000 of profit in it, that means your time spent selling and estimating is worth $1,000 an hour. All right. Number 2, upselling. Selling more work to existing clients. This is very, very valuable. A lot of people miss this, but let me define what I mean by upselling. When I say upselling, I'm talking about offering a suggestion to a receptive buyer to enhance the value of their purchase. Now, the key to upselling is understanding the timing of making the upsell offer. The sweet spot is to offer the upsell after they've made the decision to do business with you and before there are ramifications for making this change. So the ideal time would be as soon as they've made the decision to do business with you and before you've started the work, maybe even before you sign a contract, if that's an opportunity. But if you already have signed a contract, it could be a good time to go offer an upsell to them. Again, an upsell is offering a suggestion to a receptive buyer to enhance the value of their purchase. I'm not talking about holding them hostage with change orders, but something more valuable. So here's a couple of things you can do to upsell more work. The first step would be to identify the types of customers you're dealing with. You're going to put together an upsell package, a menu of options that you're going to upsell. So you want to identify your customer types. Are they homeowners? Are they industrial facility managers? Are they general contractors? Are they schools? Are they hospitals? Are they an apartment property manager? What are your customer types? And then select the list of upgrades you could offer that could be valuable to them, and then be able to point to why they might be valuable to them. So a couple of examples. If you're a siding contractor, then you would offer potentially a new front door, new shutters, windows, gutters and downspouts, maybe a garage door. Maybe there's an exterior lighting package that you offer, maybe even some stone veneer as an accent. If you're an electrician, you might want to offer some sexy exterior lighting on their deck or their patio. Maybe check out their gnarly old electrical service and upgrade it to a new panel. Maybe even install a whole house emergency generator so they can ride out the next ice storm or the power outage. You get the idea. But the idea is to ask 2 questions. Ask a 2-word question. Actually, there are 2 questions. The first question is a 2-word question, and that is, what else? What else can we do for you? What else can we offer to add value to the purchase you've already made? What else? What else can we do that would be valuable? And then the other question is, while we're here, what else can you do? Ask the question to your client. While we're here, what else can we take care of for you? And then also ask the question of yourselves. While we're here in this neighborhood, what else can we do for the neighbors, for the folks up and down the street, the people across the street? While we're here, how can we maximize the revenue from this trip? So simply asking that 2-word question, what else? And then that 3-word question, while we're here, you should expect to get a 1 to 2% bump on every project through an upsell. So by simply asking that question, you could increase your revenue 1 to 2%, easily worth $1,000 an hour. So number 3 is building key relationships. Time spent building key relationships is worth easily $1,000 an hour. And when people ask me, how can I grow my business? How can I generate more leads? Should I do advertising? Should I be on Yelp? Or should I buy leads from these internet services? My advice to people is this. Step 1, build a referral network. Build a referral network. And what that means is, first of all, find the type of people through whom most, if not all, of your projects come through. For example, if you do high-end residential remodeling, chances are very high that they're working with an architect. So instead of you trying to go find those homeowners who have projects, you should go find those architects, those who those homeowners are coming to and build relationships with the architects. If you do commercial tenant improvement work, you would want to develop relationships with property managers and real estate brokers. So think about, who do most of these customers go through, and then go build key relationships with them. You could spend, for example, you might spend a few days building your referral network. You may contact 50 people, get one key relationship out of that will generate a steady source of leads for you for the next several years. If you want to hear how that works and get some more details, go check out episode 54 of the podcast, which was an interview with a guy named Jonah Cantor, who did this. His entire lead generation strategy when he started his business was to develop relationships with real estate brokers. And at least at the time that we did the interview, when we talked, he was still getting work months or maybe a year or two later from this referral network that he had set up. So building key relationships, easily worth $1,000 an hour. Let's say you spent a few hours or a few days, you made a key relationship with an architect or a broker or whoever that type of person is that most of your projects come through, and then they continually refer projects to you. It's hard to put a number on what that could be worth. Number 4. The number 4 way you can earn $1,000 an hour is planning your work. Listen, I've been leading construction businesses and projects for over 20 years, and most of the problems I see on projects are foreseeable. They were avoidable problems. When something pops up, the response is something like, well, we didn't think about that. We didn't consider that. We weren't prepared for that. We thought this was taken care of. Most of the productivity problems they're foreseeable. The issues that slow down productivity, that cause project overruns and cause schedule issues, are foreseeable. Whether it was on a small scale, tools that were forgotten, somebody didn't load the material onto the truck, a piece of equipment was moved and nobody was told, all these issues that show up as productivity problems. In a lot of cases, the root cause is a lack of planning. So let's talk about what planning is. When I describe planning, when I define planning, I say this. Here's the deal. Every decision that's going to be made on your project, on your job site, on your crew, every decision will be made at some point. All right? You get to decide, are you going to make the decision at the last possible minute when you have people standing around and you have the meter running, you have equipment, and you should be making revenue? Or are you going to wait until the last minute to make the decision? You can. It's not very efficient. My advice is to push those decisions into the future and make the decisions the day or the week or the month before, when the cost of decision making is much lower. All right? It's much more economical and productive to make decisions in advance. So when you're planning, you're simply making decisions in the future. You're pushing your decision making into the future. That's what planning is. So imagine this. Imagine if you could spend 4 hours a week planning your work for the coming week or the coming 2 weeks. If you did a 2-week look ahead schedule and you spent 4 hours a week planning your work, you could avoid lost time. You could identify the materials that need to be ordered, having things staged and ready and scheduled deliveries. You could sequence the work better. You could talk to your subcontractors that are going to be involved, put together a detailed schedule, stage work out well. You could identify any information that you need that you don't have, approvals, color selections, approved shop drawings, change orders, etc. You could identify change order opportunities. You could identify upgrade opportunities while there's still time to incorporate it. Imagine if you could spend 4 hours a week doing that. Would you expect that you could save some money? Well, in my experience, whenever I could spend time like that, if I could spend 4 hours planning work, I could probably come up with $5,000 to $10,000 worth of improved productivity, avoided lost time, change order opportunities, and other solutions that would make me $5,000 to $10,000. So that means my time could be worth, say, $1,300 an hour to $2,500 an hour. If I can spend 4 hours planning and come up with $10,000 of savings or additional profit, that means my time's worth $1,300 to $2,500 an hour. So planning your work is one of the absolute best ways you can use your time. Much better than sitting in emails, keying in invoices, driving forgotten pieces of equipment and tools to your crew. You need to be in a position where you have time to plan your work. This is the root cause of a lot of cash flow problems is poor productivity. The root cause of poor productivity in a lot of cases is poor planning. So if you have cash flow problems, if you have chaos in your business, you need to be planning your work better, planning in more detail, further in advance. And if you want a formula for planning your work, if you want a step-by-step formula so you don't have to figure it all out on your own, I've put together what I call the project execution formula. It's one of the things you're going to get free when you sign up for the Construction Business Accelerator at constructionbusinessaccelerator.com. All right, number 5. The number 5 activity you can do that could be worth $1,000 or more an hour is preparing and reviewing contracts. Okay? That could be you preparing your standard agreement if you are a home builder or you are working directly with a residential client who doesn't have, or working with a client that doesn't have their standard agreement. You could spend time developing your standard agreement and then identifying the payment terms. More generally, identifying the risks that you want to mitigate. If you get to write the agreement, you might as well make it work for you. So what are the payment terms that you want? How will you handle allowances, for example, especially if you're working with homeowners? What will be the schedule component? How will you include the duration of your project in your agreement? What will be the scope of work? How will you define the scope of work? What are the exclusions that you typically exclude on all of your contracts? Will there be a checklist of things that will be built into the contract? Maybe coming up with a list of owner obligations and a timeline to put the responsibility for making decisions, providing information, taking action onto your client. Because in a lot of cases, your client has to do things at a certain time in the sequence that you need it to happen to support your project. And one of the best ways to do that is to come up with an owner obligation checklist, make that part of your contract. So maybe developing your standard agreement, spending some time developing your standard agreement. Think about if you could spend 4 hours working on your standard agreement, making tweaks, what kind of chaos and problems and risks and money could those negative things, what could it avoid for you? But then what sort of profitability could you expect that to yield for you this year and next year if you could get that right? So spending time developing your agreement is time well spent. Also, if you are a general contractor, spending time reviewing your sub-agreements and then assigning risk, defining scopes of work, identifying the gaps between different trades and their scopes of work, identifying potential overlap where you could be paying twice for things. That's time well spent. If you do commercial work, if you are a general contractor or a subcontractor, spending time reviewing the agreement from your client, whether it's an AIA agreement or some other boilerplate agreement. Listen, just because it's a boilerplate agreement doesn't mean it's been written in your favor. You need to spend some time reviewing your contracts. I've seen it over and over and over where a boilerplate contract gets sent out. It's 40 or 50 pages long. Somebody says, well, it's an AIA agreement. It's pretty standard. So yeah, it's probably all right. Nobody highlighted anything. Nobody asked me any questions. I assume that it's good. Well, for example, somebody sent me a contract about a year or so ago. Said, hey, what do you think of this contract? It was for a relatively small project. And I looked through it, and their general liability insurance rates, or the general liability amounts, were crazy high for a project of their size. They were requiring errors and omissions insurance in the amount of like $4 million, which is almost impossible to get, and it's extremely expensive. They had some language in there that was really open-ended about liquidated damages and consequential damages. So it was an agreement that was extremely weighted toward the client and was completely out of bounds. So just because somebody sends you a boilerplate agreement doesn't mean that it's a good thing. And I'm telling you, lawyers don't highlight the things. They don't point to the things and say, hey, you probably want to look at this. Well, your lawyer should, hopefully, but your client's attorney is writing an agreement to protect their client's interest. So take some time, review your contracts. You could spend an hour reviewing a contract and find one thing, some insurance limitation or some insurance requirement that could cost you thousands of dollars. And just because you didn't bid it that way doesn't mean anything. That contract is the only thing that means anything. Once you sign the contract, that supersedes anything you included in your estimate. So you may think, well, I'll just go back to my bid and show them what I included in my bid. Well, that doesn't matter. Once you sign the contract, it is done. Number 6 is building systems for your projects or for your business. I want you to think of investing time like investing money. If you invest money into something, you expect to get a financial return. You expect to get an ROI, a return on investment. When you build systems and you invest time in solving problems, you should expect an ROTI, a return on time invested. For example, if you spend 10 hours building a system that saves your project or your company 100 hours of labor per year, then you have yielded a return on time invested. This could be systems or processes that include planning, change management, ordering materials, invoicing your clients, bookkeeping, like we already talked about. I strongly recommend you check out the offer from Apparatus team over at constructionleadingedge.com/headache to let them handle your system for all your bookkeeping. There's also systems you can put in place for improving crew productivity, for tracking and reporting completed work, for changes. Here's the deal. If you want more consistent results from your business or from your project, then you have to have a consistent process. You need to think of your project or your business as a series of processes, a series of systems with consistent inputs that yield consistent results. A couple of examples, other than working with the Apparatus team for your bookkeeping, I also recommend using a service like T-Sheets for tracking your hourly employees. They have a super slick app that allows your employees to clock in and out with either a mobile phone or a smartphone, either way, via text message or an app, and gives you real-time reporting, shows you exactly what's going on. Right now, you don't have to chase paper timesheets. You don't have to screw around with text messages. I used this system for several years. Can't recommend it enough. You can find out more about them at constructionleadingedge.com/T-Sheets. Also, I recommend a system of job site reporting. And I use ArcaSnapper to do job site reports. I walk around, I take pictures with my phone using the ArcaSnapper app, and it creates really nice PDF reports, makes it super simple to distribute these reports via email. I never have to open up Microsoft Word or anything like that. I don't have to download pictures from my phone to my laptop. I don't have to manipulate picture sizes, any of that. I can create really nice PDF reports and send them in minutes instead of hours. You can find out more about that app at constructionleadingedge.com/snap, S-N-A-P. So build systems, spend time, invest time building systems, developing processes, and you can expect to get a return on time invested. Number 7, the number 7 way to create $1,000 of value per hour is hiring and training your team. Let's say you spent 3 days to find and hire a superintendent or a project manager or a crew leader, and by making that key hire, you're going to be able to make an additional $10,000 a month in profit or fee. If you do the math, that's $120,000 a year divided by 8 hours per day, 3 days to recruit, hire, and get this person on board. That makes, if you can do that, that makes your time worth $5,000 an hour that you spent recruiting, interviewing, and hiring that person. You could do the same thing training your people. Think about if you spend an hour a week training your people, how much benefit are you going to get out of that? Just simply the act of training being trained makes people more likely to stay with your organization. And if it doesn't do anything to productivity, if it doesn't do anything to customer service, if it doesn't do anything else but make those people stay with you, then you've already saved a tremendous amount of money, because the cost of replacing an employee has been estimated to be 1x their salary up to 1.5x their salary. It's extremely expensive to find new employees these days. Number 8 is, this is an extremely powerful one, that is spending time doing vendor negotiation and what I would call strategic sourcing, or being strategic about your purchasing. I'll give you an example. Several years ago, I was running a company, and we were buying our stone or gravel from a quarry that was about probably 45 minutes away. We're driving our trucks 45 minutes each way to pick up stone, because it was like $10 a ton to pick up gravel at this quarry. And there was a quarry literally down the street. You could see it from our shop, but their prices were significantly higher. They wanted like $17 a ton to pick up stone. And we did this for a year. We bought a lot of stone. We bought somewhere between 8 to 10 truckloads of stone a day. So we were doing a lot of volume. Well, one day I decided I'm gonna see if I can negotiate a better deal with this supplier down the road, because we were spending a lot of money in labor and maintenance, having trucks on the road, and getting stone to our projects was a problem, because it took an hour and a half round trip. And we could get it like in 20 minutes round trip if I could negotiate a better deal. So long story short, I picked up the phone, talked to a salesman, and I said, hey, I want to buy stone from you, but the last price we got was too high. Can you do it for X? And I gave him a target number that was a little higher than what I could pick it up for 45 miles away, but I knew if I could get it from his quarry, I could afford to pay more money, because I wouldn't have trucks on the road and I wouldn't be paying to have a driver in that truck for an hour and a half. I was going to reduce my labor cost, reduce my fuel cost, reduce my maintenance cost. And I gave him a target number, and he said, yeah, we can do that. And with that phone call and a few emails back and forth, I was able to save probably $500 a day in the stone that we bought. $500 a day for that entire year. So that's, in our case, that's like $100,000 a year we saved on stone just by negotiating a better deal. And that was huge. So here's a couple of strategies to think about, a few things I want you to think about. This could be one of the biggest levers you can pull, one of the best ways you could spend your time. So think about your the materials that you're buying consistently every day, every week, every month: concrete, lumber, gravel, shingles, rubber membrane, paint, whatever it is, and then contact your salesperson and don't necessarily ask them for a quote, but give them a target and say these words: will you take fill in the blank? Give them a target number. Give them something to shoot for. Will you take this? What'll it take to get this? And see what happens. Another strategy would be to just ask for free delivery, something that maybe doesn't cost them very much, but will save you quite a bit of money. Can you deliver my material, my product, free? You can also outsource delivery. For example, if you are currently using your trucks and your people to go pick up lumber, maybe your supplier doesn't offer free delivery, but you could find somebody who has a truck and has a trailer who would do it cheaper than you can do it, and it would keep your revenue producing people on the job site. So think about, how can I manage delivery more economically? Even if it's an equal cost, if you're paying somebody $20 an hour to go pick up material and you've got people who could do it for $20 an hour, well, if your employees are making you revenue by working on a job site, then you're going to be money ahead by paying somebody else who's not a revenue producer to go pick up material. You're going to avoid that opportunity cost. So I would recommend that you contact every one of your suppliers that you work with on a regular basis: concrete suppliers, asphalt suppliers, roofing suppliers, etc., where you're buying materials from on a regular basis, and then give them a target. Look at your insurance policy. Give your insurance agent a target rate. The rent that you're paying. Ask your landlord, hey, will you take this? Doesn't hurt to ask. Bulk fuel. If you are fueling up trucks and equipment on a regular basis, you really need to look at having bulk fuel tanks at your shop, at your yard. You'll save money on fuel. You'll get it a few cents cheaper by the gallon than what you can get it at a gas station. But more importantly, you'll keep your people out of gas stations, because if you have bulk fuel storage tanks at your shop, there's no chance they're going to buy donuts, cigarettes, lottery tickets, spend 15 minutes in the restroom every time they fuel up. And by having bulk fuel tanks at your shop or at your yard, you can have somebody fuel up trucks before hours or after hours, so that they're not doing that activity during revenue producing hours. Another one that you may not have thought of would be your credit card. I would recommend that you contact your credit card and say, I want to lower APR. I want to lower my interest rate, or I'm going to have to go somewhere else. There are scripts out there that you can follow word for word. People have done this over and over and over in recent years. And if you want to find a script, just go to Google and look for lower my credit card rate script, and you'll find some scripts that people have used. But the key difference here is, don't ask, hey, can you lower my rate? Can I get it for a lower price? What do you think? The difference is, give people a target and say, this is what I'll pay. Can you do this? Don't leave it open-ended. So same thing with parts. If you're buying equipment parts, you can negotiate a discount rate from your supplier off retail. If you go in and buy it at over the counter without a corporate account, you may pay retail, maybe a little bit off. But if you set up a corporate account, you can get 15, 20, 25% off retail by having that commercial account. So in general, set up commercial accounts, get a negotiated discount off retail, lock in prices for the entire year, not just for a particular project, and do an 80-20 analysis of all your purchases. Have your accountant or go into QuickBooks, whatever you use, and print off your material purchases, sort it by the suppliers with whom you've spent the most money in the last 6 months or the last year. Start with them, give them a target. If you can reduce your material cost, that's going to be a huge win. Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll spend 2 hours like I did, negotiating a price with a supplier that saved me $500 a day. That's time well spent. Number 9 is to spend your time doing quality control and quality assurance on your projects. My recommendation is not just to wander around jobs every day and micromanage your people, but you want to do an 80-20 analysis and figure out where are the biggest risks in my projects. What are the key points at which long-term risks can get covered up? For example, if you are doing building construction, then just prior to foundations going in, that's a great time to do an inspection. Maybe you do that inspection, you get a testing agency to do an inspection to find out if you have unsuitable materials under your foundation. Before a slab gets poured, that's a great time to do a QA/QC check. When windows are going in, it's a great time to look for potential moisture problems. Before drywall is installed, that's a great time to spend some time reviewing, taking pictures of everything inside of walls, especially on exterior walls. Maybe do some water testing if you have a curtain wall system or something where there's a significant risk of water intrusion. But look at the key points in your process at which high-risk things can happen. When are things going to get covered up? And then spend your time doing quality control inspections at those key points when things are going to get covered up. And again, I recommend using a reporting app like ArcaSnapper. I mentioned you can find out more about that at constructionleadingedge.com/snap. That's what I use when I do inspections and send out reports. It gives me not only a great way to issue reports to everybody involved, but it gives me great documentation. And if you've ever been in any sort of dispute, you know that who has the best documentation typically wins. And number 10, the number 10 activity you can engage in that could be worth $1,000 or more per hour is strategic planning for your business, establishing the vision and direction of your company. Where are you going? What do you want your company to look like in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years? What do you want to accomplish with your company? Is there some purpose that's bigger than just you? Do you want to be able to give back to your community? Do you want to fund missionaries? Do you want to build schools in Africa? Do you want to feed the homeless? What's the purpose of your company? What's the direction of your company? What's the vision of your company? And then to figure out what are the roadblocks and the obstacles? What are the things that are holding you back? What are the missing pieces to the puzzle that need to be solved? What are the roadblocks that need to be dismantled? Systems that need to be put in place? Things like that. You need to be spending time operating at that level. You need to get out of the weeds and operate at a 30,000 foot level and look at what are we doing? Where are we headed? Where do we want to go? That's very important. Otherwise, you're just going to go from day to day, just slogging it out and surviving month after month, year after year, and not necessarily getting anywhere. So spend some time doing strategic planning. And the key to getting somewhere is 1, knowing where you're at, 2, figuring out where you want to go, and then 3, mapping out a course to get there. So those are the 10 activities. There are more, but those are 10 activities that I came up with that could be worth $1,000 an hour or more for you. Now you may be thinking, crap, I'm not spending time on some of those. Maybe I'm not spending time on any of those activities. I'm not doing strategic buying. I'm not doing quality control. I don't have enough time to sell. I don't even have time to think about building relationships or building systems or reviewing contracts. I'm just scrambling around, just trying to keep up with chaos. I just don't have time. Well, here's the reality. Everybody has the same number of hours per week. Everybody, you, your competition, the big contractors, the little contractors, the successful ones, the unsuccessful ones, you all have 168 hours per week. The difference is, what are you doing with your time? Are you spending your time chasing your tail, running in circles, doing things. If that's the case, then yeah, you don't have time to do these things. But that's where you need to be. I'm telling you, if you want to be successful, you need to be spending more and more time on the things on this list. That's how you're going to grow your business. That's how you're going to eliminate the chaos. That's how you're going to get out of this mess and get to the next level. So a couple of resources I want to share with you to help you get started. First of all, go to those links that I talked about. Check out T-Sheets for timesheets. If you're spending time processing timesheets, chasing pieces of paper, go to constructionleadingedge.com/T-Sheets. Check it out. I've used it. It's a game changer, especially if you don't have any kind of system or a good system for managing timesheets. For QA, QC reporting or job site reporting, if you're spending a lot of time preparing job site reports, you need to be using ArcaSnapper. Go to constructionleadingedge.com/snap. I think I have a demo video there. If it's not there, that'll take you right to their website, and you'll find out a lot about that. Actually, if you want to check out a demo of how it works, just go to Google constructionleadingedge.com field reports, and you'll find that. I'll put a link in the show notes to a demo video that I put together for ArcaSnapper, but can't recommend that highly enough. A couple of podcast episodes to go check out if you want to free up time to spend more time on this top 10 list. First of all is episode 31, which is titled The Unimportance of Practically Everything You Do. You're going to learn more about the 80-20 principle and how you can apply that to your business. Next is episode 48, which is about load shedding. It's going to help you identify the revenue producing activities and then give you a process you can follow to shed that load from your system so you have more capacity to do the things you want to do. And if the things you want to do, if that list of things you want to do does not include bookkeeping, then make sure and check out the Apparatus Team's offer over at constructionleadingedge.com/headache. You're going to get this great package that they put together for Construction Leading Edge podcast listeners. Full service bookkeeping, payroll, back office support starting at $199 a month. Month to month, hassle-free subscription. There's no long-term agreement. Free setup, free training, free financial report education. They're going to send you reports every week that tell you exactly what's going on in your business. You get free customization of those reports. You get free support by email, phone, and video calls. Free monthly account check-in meetings. They're going to throw in a $100 complimentary voucher for their a la carte services. So to get started, go find out more about the Apparatus Team's offer for you. Go to constructionleadingedge.com/headache. And lastly, if you like the podcast, you like this kind of content, but you want to take your business to the next level, if you want to maximize revenue, if you want to put financial anxiety and stress behind you, and you want to turn your business into a well-oiled machine, then go check out the Construction Business Accelerator at constructionbusinessaccelerator.com. Right now, for a limited time, when you join the Construction Business Accelerator, you're going to get around $9,000 worth of bonuses, including the Revenue Maximizer, the Sales Accelerator, the Project Execution Formula, the Leadership Masterclass, the Mindset Upgrade, and a whole lot more. These bonuses aren't going to be around for very long, and there's only so many spots available. So to find out how the Construction Business Accelerator can help you do all those things, help you maximize revenue, put financial anxiety and stress behind you, and turn your business into a well-oiled machine, just go to constructionbusinessaccelerator.com. A couple of other things. I appreciate all of you who have left a review or a rating for the podcast. That means a lot to me. So if you appreciate the podcast, if you could take a couple of minutes, leave a rating, that lets me know that it's working for you, and then it also helps to spread the word throughout the rest of the internets and let folks know about the podcast. And if there's one link you need to remember, just remember the link to the show notes where you can find all the resources and other things I talked about here, as well as the notes from this podcast. Go to constructionleadingedge.com/079 for all of that. And as always, I appreciate you listening to the podcast. I'll talk to you next time.